Thank you very much, Alan. On top of coaching, one of my personal things that I love, that's really close to my heart, is studying the future. Okay, I consider myself a futurist. Some of you might ask yourselves, what's a futurist? Right? Well, a futurist is someone that studies the future and understands complexity and tries to make assumptions that are correct about these complexities to try to understand what are the potential directions that human interactions will take. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk to you guys today. And we had some interesting themes out of some of the speakers, and about local strengths, local unity. And that's what it's all about. When we're studying, I believe in that as well. When you study the future, you tend to kind of look at the big picture. And nowadays, our human system is fairly large, it's global. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But everything can be kind of, through unity, through local strength, we can really take opportunity of some of the interconnections, the global interconnections. That's one thing I'd like to get everybody to maybe think about and explore on their own terms. Now, to get started with what I want to talk about, is the vision. Okay, basically we're going to talk about foresight and vision, the power of these things in driving our behaviors. Okay? And so I'd like to start by going back about 100,000 years to an earlier version of ourselves. And let's take a look at that. Earlier man would rely heavily on their survival instincts to get them through the day. They were mostly concerned with satisfying their needs for hunger, thirst, and reproduction needs as well. Deep brain programs and instincts drove their everyday action. Okay? We can imagine this early man never gave much thought to the future or any kind of future planning. Okay? In the end, all they did was just listen to their bodies. However, today things are much different. I can easily send a text message to a friend of mine in Hong Kong that I met in university while studying in Southern Ontario. Through networking tools like Facebook or MySpace, it's not that uncommon that a teenager would have many close friends that they've never physically met. This is something that's pretty interesting and new. Also, we've got this global communication network that really, through the global communication network, we see, hear, read about events that happen across the world, and sometimes almost immediately. And through the global trade network, we sometimes feel those events, feel the effects of those events ourselves. So under these circumstances, we have no choice but to become aware of the complex nature of our human system, this global human system we've created. This type of awareness has allowed us to observe complexity in natural systems as well. Through science, we observe the complex interactions of many organisms, okay, within an ecosystem. We also understand that, and this is no longer an unconventional view, but that stress, emotional stress within our nervous system has an effect on our entire body. This is not something that is. This is something that's widely accepted. And so there is a pattern here, okay? There is a pattern in all of this that can be summed up in two words. And those two words are interconnectivity and interdependence. Okay? As human systems, because there's many human systems within this larger one, of course, become more complex and interconnected, they become more sensitive to human activity outside of their own area of influence. That's something I want everybody to understand. With this understanding, a person, family, business, organization, or government should restrain from making what I consider unconscious decisions, a decision without any consideration for the future whatsoever. On top of being an important act, thinking about the future can also be rewarding. Okay? And this is where it gets really interesting. After all, hope is the product of our dreams. And foresight can be used to ensure our dreams are achievable. By understanding what is possible, we can gain confidence. By understanding what is possible, we gain confidence and to take certain types of action. On the other hand, a lack of foresight can lead to anxiety, Anxiety leads to a reactionary response, although this mechanism works great. I mean, if you were running away from a lion in the Serengeti 100,000 years ago, in a business context, it leads to poor decisions. Okay? There are 2 points I'd like to make to help sum this up, all of this up. Action without a goal is meaningless. Foresight leads to action. Again, foresight builds confidence. Now, with that in mind, I'd like to talk about the power of the vision. Let's move to the vision now. I'm sure some of you are asking, what exactly is a vision and how could it possibly make a difference in my life? And a vision could be a personal vision, okay? You have students that make decisions on what kind of program I'd like to get into. It's important, even individually, to maybe think out, 10, 20 years ahead. Where do you see yourself? And to give yourself something to aim for. A vision is a description, okay? So what exactly is a vision? A vision is a description of a future state. A vision brings purpose and mobilizes intelligence. It really rounds the truth together. It gets them going. A vision framed within a range of plausible outcome paves the way for confident action. A vision in the form of a statement is a communication tool that provides direction for action and strategy. How do we frame a vision in plausibility, and how do we make it believable? Really simple, we use simple tools, okay? And we're going to go through one right now. Visioning simplified, 4 steps, okay? Step number 1, define your system. And this is an exercise in building self-awareness. Okay? Ask yourself these questions. What is going on in the world that you need to know about? What are you today? What do you do? What is your purpose? It's all about understanding your place in this greater system, right? In this greater world. Determine what is plausible. Step number 2, determine what is plausible. Ask yourself these questions. Where are you going? How are you going to get there? The strategy. So where are you going? The dream. How are you going to get there? Potential strategy. What do you need to know? And if you don't know what you need to know, ask someone. If you don't know anything about what you need to know, ask someone. There are experts, there are people around. Get details. There are people within your organizations as well that are. So say if you're running a larger organization, don't get the feedback from people in the front lines. Get the feedback from everyone, because some of these people have certain expertise, they have some experience, right? That we don't all have. Okay, open your minds to things you ordinarily would not consider. And this is where it gets interesting. Get out of knowing and into learning. Nobody knows everything, and we shouldn't put ourselves in that mindset, limit ourselves by pretending that we do. Okay. So accept the fact that we don't always have all the answers. Step number 3: think about what needs to change today to increase the probability of shaping the future you want to create. And this is my favorite one. Actually, this is my second favorite. Next one's my favorite one. Think about what needs to change today to increase the probability of shaping the future. The future is not something that is necessarily predicted or anticipated or forecasted. Any forecasting technique, they don't work. They're not accurate. There's always going to be a difference between the actual and what is assumed. However, there are tools to create a believable and to understand what is possible. And so in this case here, that's what it's all about: understanding what is potentially possible. So ask yourself these questions: what changes are possible, and are your assumptions about those changes believable? Okay. And 4th, this is my favorite one: make your vision altruistic. Okay. Make sure it motivates all stakeholders, buyers. Get some details from people that you're selling it to, selling your services to, or product. Get some details from people that are your suppliers, other stakeholders, investors. What do they want? How do you get the buy-in of the community? How do you really solidify a place in the future of this community? You get the community to buy into your ideas and what you're offering. Okay. In order for a vision to truly mobilize intelligence, it must aim to be aligned with the current and future values of everyone directly affected. So as you can see, managing complexity does not have to be too complicated. And lastly, and always remember this, the future is the fruits of human desire. Without desire, we are leaving our future in the hands of chance.